Hello everybody, my name's Atley. Welcome back to my SnowRunner Hard Mode playthrough in the Tatcha Force at the moment, heading across the bottom of the flooded foothills map to go into Big Salmon Peak, where we need to pick up a couple of metal rolls, and I've decided that that's the way I'm going to do it, rather than messing around with beams and crafting and stuff on this map. I'm just going to go straight in to Big Salmon Peak. This is going to be the finale, so it's going to be a little bit scrappy. There's a fair bit to do that is a bit unpredictable as to how long it'll take. Could be really quick, could end up being a marathon. I got 3 pieces of cargo, totaling 4 slots worth of bed space to move, and then the map will be complete. And then the biggest thing is I've got to rescue the Tipsteer off the side of the mountain. So because the Tatcha Force in the last episode I left it at the conveyor 3, it doesn't seem worth going back up to the top of the map. I figured I may as well just straight away come across the bottom of the map into Big Salmon Peak, grab the crocodile on the way past, tow that into the garage, Big Salmon Peak, maybe snarf any fuel that's left in the crocodile. I don't think there's very much, if any, though. But get some fuel out of the crocodile, garage it basically empty, and then try and get the metal rolls delivered to conveyor 3, which will complete that one, and then get it back up to the garage with hopefully enough fuel left. And I was saying in the last episode that I wasn't sure whether... Ooh, pay attention. I was just looking at my side monitor then when I pulled around the corner, just to make sure the recording was all looking good. I was saying in the last episode that I wasn't sure about fuel. And there is part of me that wants to just do a Michigan fuel run in this episode. And what that would do, it wouldn't help the crocodile because the crocodile's going to the wrong garage for it. Just out of interest, turn my engine off. Is there any fuel in the crocodile? So it's got 109 litres in its main tank, and the fuel add-on I am pretty sure is empty. I'm pretty sure I remember that being empty, and it looks empty as well. And the roof is empty as well. So I want to take this in with me. Unless I took it back the other way. But yeah, my logic is, if I did a fuel run to Michigan, instead of garaging all of these trucks empty, I could garage them full of fuel so that any that I ship to Wisconsin don't start Wisconsin basically dry. That's a slight logic. Let's just turn this around so I can stick it on a tow rope easily. A bit of a splurge, but given that I'm going to be garaging the Paystar here anyway, it's kind of wasting 7,000, isn't it, to do a fuel trip. Stop the engine. Finish trap. And pull forward a little bit actually. We're not on too tight a rope. Lights on. I think it's coming into morning, but we are on the dark side of the mountain. Even with mud tires, it just stops in that puddle. That's why I do this route of getting the hell away from those puddles as quickly as I can. Because I think the puddles are just full of death mud. So yeah, possibly I'll do a fuel run. I'll see how I feel. I know that there's fuel fairly accessible at what for me will be the start of Wisconsin. It's not too bad as long as I don't turn up with a completely empty fleet. I'm not too far away from getting fuel in Wisconsin at $2 a litre. I think actually that's where I normally turn over, but it should be alright to do it this way. There we go. Normally turn right a little bit earlier than that, but it's all good. We'll get to the road. And it's just a short drive into the garage. Pros and cons. If I do a Michigan fuel run here, then it'll be 7,000 wasted. Or it'll be at a cost of 7,000. Versus if I fill up here at $8 a litre on the way past, then yes, it's expensive fuel, but it's not going to be $7 grand, right? But I won't get as much fuel back in return for it. I've also got to decide which garage I'll take the Tipsteer to, assuming that I manage to get it on its wheels okay. It might be easier to bring it here, down off the gold mine, rather than trying to negotiate the terrain to the other garage. There's my 2 metal rolls, but before we do that, let's get this crocodile garaged. Or at least let's steal its fuel. So crocodile into me. I've got a full roof rack, so I'm not doing too badly. Change truck, crocodile, garaged, and retained. So I've got the Kodiak is empty, I know that. So I may as well retain that as well. And then the Pacific is sat here for retirement. If I wasn't nostalgic, I should sell it really, shouldn't I? And then out of interest, let's come across to Bay 4. Got these forklift trucks again, and so that one I'm going to deploy it and leave it there. So as with the Pacific, that'll just sit there indefinitely. But I've also got the other one, and as you can see, I've still got the bug from Phase 8 Hard Mode shenanigans, where they're offering me 100% of its value. I've said before I would sell it and keep the other one as compensation, but no, I can't make myself do it. I can't make myself sell something that breaks the hard mode rule, which is a bit of a problem. If they never fix that, then I've got an issue, right? I may end up caving on that, but at the moment I can't make myself do it, so fine, let's get out. So Touch of Force has now got half a tank of fuel plus its roof. Get these 2 metal rolls loaded up, and then back to conveyor 3. I dropped these up here ages ago, not for this purpose, just because I had them, didn't need them, didn't want to drive without the slots from where I picked them up. So I brought them up here, but I didn't actually at the time have a reason for them. Still a crane. That cargo. Get out of here. Back to conveyor 3. And then on up to the garage / Zix area. Come on, Atlee. Drive properly. So you would have noticed, some of you will have noticed already, I did a little experiment yesterday when I was editing up the footage for episode 50, where I was driving along the crazy cliff to get some bricks in this truck. While I was editing it, I thought that would make a fairly decent little short, and I've never done a short form video on this channel before. So that's my first one, and I messed around a little bit with the edit and tried to work out what the rules were for shorts and how that all works. And it's quite bizarre how that works. Because I put it live, and within 30 minutes, it had 2,000 views and 6 new subscribers. So, where YouTube tells us that we should be doing shorts because it's good for building channel engagement, I didn't do it for that reason. I kind of, in the back of my mind, I knew that shorts were a thing. Obviously I see them pop up in my own feed, and especially when I'm on my mobile app, but YouTube, you know, do give content creator suggestions, and shorts are one of the things they keep saying, if you do this it'll be really good for channel growth, and turns out they're right. It's quite bizarre, really. 2,000, so 29 minutes in the first 30 minutes, say 2,000 views and 6 new subscribers. You're welcome aboard, any new people. And I'm not sure what I'll do about shorts generally, because half of my time in this game is spent in the dark, which wouldn't make good content. But when things interesting happen, like me trying to negotiate a cliff that I've got no business going on in a truck like this, or even better, me rolling a truck over or chucking it off a mountain or whatever, then it might be a thing that is worth me thinking about editing that down. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting thing that doing a short, I lost my all-wheel drive for some reason. Doing a short seems to have been really effective for how much work goes into it. Anybody else that's looking at making videos, give it a try. I was surprised how well it worked. I don't even particularly think it was a very good short. It was nearly 30 seconds. The rules are they have to be less than a minute. Now, but 10 seconds is better. So it was longer than it ought to have been, really. And it wasn't as if it was particularly punchy content, but still had quite an impact. And that's the challenge, right? Is this game is a bit of a slow and plodding game. So how do you condense anything meaningful from this game into a 10-second clip? I'm not sure. Which is why I haven't really messed with them before, but that particular little bit of footage, just while I was editing it, I thought, yeah, this would work. Try it. It's all about experimentation. Trying new things. Don't like this bit of railway for sure. Just feels quite tippy. But this will be, hopefully, the last time I have to drive over it. What's my plan for Wisconsin? I think, depending on how I finish this one, my first priority is going to be fuel. Make sure I've got a secure fuel supply. Second priority probably needs to be resupply points. And then scouting. So probably the first truck I'll take through would be the Zix to the second map garage, which I've unlocked because I went there previously to get the Paystar. Thirsty girl. Just get off this railway a little bit. Just, even if it's only 20 meters. So yeah, maybe the big Zix to go through and secure my fuel supply, and then the Ford F750 to go through and do scouting. I'm going to deliberately try to have less trucks on the map than I normally do. I normally deploy more than I need. I'm going to try and avoid doing that. Through here. That work? Yep. So, should I just slurp a bit of fuel out of here? What's it going to cost me to fill my tank? Just give me a little bit of... I don't like buying fuel at this cost, but $2,000 to fill my tank. That's only worth it if I don't end up going to Michigan. I think that's worth it. That's just splurged $2,000 on very expensive fuel, but in the long run it's mathematically cheaper, I think, than going to Michigan if I can avoid it. And if I didn't have fuel at the start of Wisconsin fairly accessible, I wouldn't have done that. I do wish that Tipsteer wasn't on its roof. It would be done pretty quickly if it wasn't for that. Right. Conveyor belt 3 should now finish. Cargo 1, 2. $8,300. Section 3. Closest to your sorting site is completed. Should we start it? No, because I haven't fixed belt 1 yet. So don't start it yet, you fool. Let's go and do belt 1. So that requires a metal beam. And as I said in the last episode, I think the way I'll do that is to pop the 2-slot sideboard bed on the Zix. And then the Zix can do conveyor 1 on its way to rescuing the Tipsteer. That's my plan. So I've got to take this to the warehouse near the garage so that I can use its crane to load the Zix. This Force is a cracking vehicle. I'm definitely a fanboy. So what I'll do is I'll just pick up, rather than bringing the Zix down here, I'll pick up a metal beam, chuck it in the back, and then I'll drive it to the garage and transfer it to the Zix. I think that'd be quicker. A little bit less messing around overall. Still a crane, pack the cargo. Let's go back to the garage. I ought to pack it, because otherwise it's kind of cheating, isn't it? Oh, hang on, don't do that. Second time I nearly did that. Yeah, if you don't pack it, it doesn't count as full weight, and therefore it's a little bit... It's not cheating really, is it? But, you know, it's in the spirit of things. Driving without the weight on there is going to make a slight difference to handling. It's funny how the physics system for this game works, where cargo doesn't have its proper mass unless it's packed. Which I suppose is a thing to allow cranes to be a bit easier to manage. One of the reasons for doing it this way is that I can make sure the Zix is full of fuel from the force, and then retain the force. Because unless I need the force to go and rescue the Zix, challenge, isn't it? Engine off. Refuel. Let's put all of the fuel from refrac into the force, and then on the map change into. So where's the Ford then? Well, that's over there as well. Okay, I've got to bring that back. That's it. Before I forget, well, I don't think the game will let me do it. I want to put the spare wheel fuel in the Zix so that I can unequip that spare wheel and not lose the fuel from it. Never used this with a sideboard bed and carrying cargo because it can't crane load itself. So customize. Have I even got a sideboard bed for it? Yeah. So I guess it just uses the standard sideboard bed. So repair points and fuel. The only thing that must be there must be some repair points in it, but it's let's just get on with it. Gonna put any repair points into myself. I think it's probably the wheels that it was referring to there. The Paystar is already in the garage. I just garaged that before the episode. So now I've just got to transfer these metal beams over. Stop the engine. Finish track. Start the engine. Unpack the cargo. Button. Do. Stop the engine, restore the crane, refuel, put everything that I can into the Zix. So my roof is empty. Right, so I got 300 litres. That's enough to go and do a rescue if I had to. Hope. Truck. I'll leave the force where it is. I won't garage it just yet because it's possibly going to be needed if this didn't go well. Come and rescue the Zix, but I'm hoping it won't be necessary. So this will be the final cargo delivery into conveyor 1 as we drive past. It's exciting. I shouldn't think it'll have a massive impact on handling, having a sideboard bed on there instead of a spare wheel. Take it, we go get that back to garage as well when we finish. Tipsteer, would I keep it? Would I sell it? Now, obviously I've got that bug at the minute. That means if I sold it, I would get way too much money. Not that money's particularly an issue at the minute, so I'm not... It's not going to break hard mode, because the hard mode... Money isn't the hard mode part anymore. There's no trucks that I'm particularly hankering to go and buy. They haven't added anything that I particularly care about in the DLCs lately. I can see, for some of the stuff in Maine, I can see the Tipsteer being useful. I've done enough of Maine on my normal save to unlock the Tiger B, just because I wanted to experience it. I've not been there on this, but I can kind of see that there's bits of the main map where the length of the Tipsteer could be quite useful. But it isn't my favourite truck, so we'll see. Coming into evening and dark, unfortunately, so by the time I get to the Tipsteer, it will probably be full dark. Right, so here we go. The last ever delivery on the Yukon region. Section 1 is complete. We can move on. We can move on to Wisconsin after we've got that Tipsteer on its wheels. 11 grand. That pushes me over the 200k balance, which is plenty of money. Even if I didn't get any more money, I could probably finish out the game with that amount of money. I've got nothing that I plan on buying, so that's good stuff. And then just to show where we are, Yukon 100%. So Michigan, Alaska, Tamir, Kola, Yukon 100%. All of the contracts finished, all of the tasks finished, and the contests, bronze on 1, gold on 2, silver on 2. Bronze on 1, I'm not happy about that, but I'm not gonna, I really don't care enough to go back and do them again. That might be a thing to do at the very, very end. I think I remember somebody saying that in hard mode they set it so that you've got 5 attempts now instead of 3. Not sure if that's true. Now where is this Tipsteer? Let's have a quick look. It's here. What's my best way to get to it? Don't really want to go all the way past the cabins. I might come up the route that I've been doing a couple of times to get up to the gold mine. So before it gets complete pitch black, let's just get up there. Fight my way up the side of this conveyor line. Can't see. The biggest problem with this route is I can't actually see very easily. Stuck on a Spider-Man tree as well. Right, now I'll come inside the tree line and hug the pipe for a little bit. Not bad. Not a bad route. That'll do us. Easier than going the other way, I think. And then let's try and get this twin steer out. I do think I'll bring it up to the gold mine and then drive it down into Big Salmon Peak rather than trying to negotiate gnarly terrain in a twin steer. And then which one is it on? I think it's the next one. Yeah. So it's down below here. I'll maintain the high line for now. Don't tip the Zix over. Did I put the bigger engine in this? I don't think I did. I was just in the garage. I don't think I've yet put the biggest engine in. This may be a bit of a problem. Right. Where are you, sir? I see you. I'm going to reverse down the slope. Although it's down a step, isn't it? It's not just going to be a case of grabbing it and dragging it. I'm going to have to try and get myself in front of it. Maybe try and pull its nose this way a bit. Maybe need a crane. I hope I don't, because I desperately want this to be the last episode of Yukon. What have we got? Let's see if we can get something off the side. And then from that, see if we can put something on the nose. And focus on driving forward myself. Better angle. I've got to make sure I don't fall down the cliff. Well wedged, isn't it? Almost like I want to roll it down, but there's just going to... If I get it snagged on trees, it's a recovery job, isn't it? I feel like I should have put the bigger engine in. That's a mistake that I've made. Engine's on. No, it's stalling again. So it's only... If I can tip it onto its wheels, or maneuver it so that it tips onto its wheels. Let's try. I can get a better view of where it is this way. How much fuel has it got? 126. See, I can't, because I can't start my engine. What do I do? What do I do? It's where I wish I was in multiplayer mode, because another brain could help me. My brain saying, can't cope, won't cope. What are you doing out there, you silly boy? Dark won't help. Lights back on. For what good it does. Try and get maybe on that side and see if I can just do enough to try and flip it. Just need to move it enough that it will fall onto its wheels. It's either that or I reverse onto it and try and push it onto its wheels. But that's really dangerous. Ish. It worked. A bit. Engine off, handbrake on. Change truck again. Turn my lights on. I'm now kind of on my wheels a bit. Which means I can start my engine. Just wondering if I could, now that my engine's running, get my nose to hold a winch. Zix is a little bit further away. Handbrake. Change truck. Zix. Dark for you guys. Sorry. I just want to try and get the Zix to pull its nose around. Then back up this slope, get to the gold mine. If I can. Camera jankiness, but you can just about hopefully see Twin Steer falling onto its side again. Just about managed to give you a view of that, didn't I? Get back on your wheels, pal. Stop messing about. Engine off. Change track. Start my engine. Use my winch to pull myself back onto my wheels, hopefully. And then see if I can drive it out. Or at least drive it around this bend. Because that is the problem. I'm not, experienced at driving this thing. I keep doing mistakes with it. Change track again. That should be enough that it can get it, I hope, around this bend without it going over again. These icy rocks aren't a friend of the Zix anyway, with its mud tyres. I also wish that towed vehicles would put their lights on. From a content perspective, it would be easier to see what's going on. Right, now, duration of episode, I've got a slight issue, but engine off, change track. Leave the Zix where it is, and then I'm going to try and drive this back to Big Salmon Peak without tipping it over. Has it got enough fuel? I bloody hope so. No, it hasn't. Egypt. I'm glad I realised that then, but I'm going to have to take a bit of fuel out of the Zix, unfortunately. I'm going to run the Zix back down the conveyor because I want the Zix in the Flooded Foothills garage. That doesn't really matter, I suppose, but fuel into there. I don't want to take all of it. I think that'll be enough to get it to the garage. I want to garage the Zix here because I want to take more fuel out of the Force so that when I deploy the Zix, it's got as much fuel as possible in Wisconsin, so that its first job when it goes to get me fuel has a better chance of success. I'm not gonna use my little shortcut down through there. I'm going to drive the safest route I can to get this back to the garage. This is obviously, content finished as far as the Yukon map is concerned. But for me, part of hard mode is getting all the trucks recovered and ready to deploy somewhere else. I don't like leaving a truck that's not in the garage when I finish a region. So this is all tidy up stuff. Could have been worse, getting this back on its wheels on the side of that hill. Obviously would have been easier if it was daylight, but yeah, that worked alright. Bit reckless using the Zix to bash it back onto its wheels, but it easily have ended up with both of them going off the side of the mountain. There we go. Easy peasy. Big Salmon Peak. It's a cracking looking truck, I gotta give it that. It's not, it's what I've said before, it's a truck I love the idea of more than I love the driving of. But it's unique and does look pretty cool. And with a different configuration of wheels and suspension, I'm told it's a lot easier to manage. But anyway, there it is, retained here. Just out of interest, see, that would be 155 grand if I sold that now with that bug still active. Nope, not doing that. Flooded Foothills, I've got to get the Zix back to garage. I'm going to turn this around, take it back down through the same run that I did next to the conveyor belt, pick up the Ford on the way past, get them both to garage, and then it'll only be the Tiger, I think, if I remember rightly. Not quite so easy in the dark to find the starting line, but maybe I'll just go straight in to the side of the conveyor. Because when you're going downhill, these rocks aren't quite so much of a problem. I know those poles are. And then right a little bit and poke through here. Sticky branches. There we go. Job's a good one. Nearly there. I've really enjoyed Yukon. The terrain is easily the most appealing terrain of any of the regions I've played so far. I love especially Big Salmon Peak. I think the map is absolutely gorgeous. The mountains, the trails, it's not particularly trollish in terms of the routes that you have to take. The sticky mud to the south of this map is probably the worst bit. The railway line I don't particularly like traversing, but other than that, the terrain is quite forgiving in terms of just pick the route you want to go and just go. So I like that about it. Some of the fact that this is 51 episodes, by far my longest series, and it's only a 2-map region, tells you a bit of the story there, in that quite a lot of the content is quite grindy. There's a lot of big contracts. I've just noticed that on engine damage. Let's just fix that up. Might as well. Yeah, quite a lot of very repetitive contracts. Massive amounts of cargo delivered for each contract. It was a bit grindy when I was doing it, but I was more worried about it being interesting content than I was worried about like not enjoying doing it. I enjoyed doing it as a gamer, as a player, but I was a bit worried that the content would be a bit dull to watch me deliver 1 billion metal rolls from A to B, back again, A to B, back again, A to B, back again, A to B. It's a bit repetitive like that, but yeah, not too bad. It's and it's just an absolutely gorgeous setting. There's probably a bigger variety of terrain than any of the other regions, from this river stuff to the icy roads to the snowy mountain passes, the big peaks. Yeah, so some interesting transits, and I have enjoyed it, so I hope you have as well. I'm really looking forward to going to Wisconsin. I know there's some new challenges there. There's a bit more of the crafting. This region introduced us to crafting. There's more of that in Wisconsin, I believe, from what I've been told. There's also... Get the Ford to give me a hand a sec. There's also the big... Is it Sequoia tree that we have to move? That's an interesting thing. Looking forward to that in a lot of ways. I am stuck. This Zix does get stuck. I'm just worried about that Ford being washed downstream. This Zix isn't great on these slippery rocks. Yeah, so different challenges. I'm kind of going to be starting in the wrong place as well, because I've already opened up the second map, and like I say, I want to go there anyway for fuel and resupply points. So whether or not I start in the second map and then make my way to the start of the first map to complete Wisconsin in the traditional order. I'm not sure. But I'll scout both maps before I decide on anything like that. Oh, titanium trees are great until you're stuck on them. Pretty sure. The Ford can probably just drive itself back from here, really, but the Ford hasn't got fuel. That's why I need to get Wisconsin. I need to get myself fuel in Wisconsin. How much have I got in me now? That's plenty. Tell you what, I'm gonna kill my engine, change into the Zix, and just drag this back. We'll pass the Tiger. But no, I've enjoyed it. The whole gold mine theme was quite cool. More cold, more gold. Whatever that means still. Still don't understand that bit, but... the variety of places to get cargo, dismantling buildings to get cargo. Bit annoying on the map in terms of the waypoints showing up everywhere. Could do without that, really. But, yeah. Overall, I think I've enjoyed... I still think so far Imandra has been my favourite individual map. But I would say that Yukon has probably been my favourite overall region. If that makes any sense. Imandra challenges were fun because of the ice that they introduced. There hasn't been a lot of that on this map. But obviously a mural will sort that balance out when we get there. After Wisconsin. Right. Stop. Engine off. Fuel. Force. Into my repair trunk. And into me. The force is completely empty now. Done. Garaged. I'm not full, but I've got a bit. Was that the right thing to do? No, it wasn't. Bear with me. Bear with me. This is all Wisconsin prep really now. For a minute, but what I'm going to do... I don't like garaging trucks completely bone dry. Because I'll forget. But having said that... I need to give the Zix the best possible start. In the other map. And then Tiger hasn't got much. So I'm going to be garaging everything except the Zix. I'm going to be garaging bone dry. And then if they get deployed, when they get deployed, they'll have to be given fuel. Fuel will have to be brought to them when they're deployed. I still think that's a better idea than going to Michigan again. And get away from that stupid radio. But that is all of my trucks back at garage. Refuel. Tiger. Into the Zix. That's the Zix full. Except the Zix hasn't got its spare wheel add-on. It's only 40 litres, isn't it? But okay. So Tiger, garaged, and retained. Ford, bone dry. Got no repair points or fuel, has it? Oh, it's got some of this utility mount. Alright. Got any repair points? Alright, let's just garage it. Retain. Map. Force. Garage it. Retain. Map. Zix. Garage it. before I forget, whack that big engine in. And then I think I will put this back into its spare wheel configuration, knowing that I've lost the spare wheel itself. Look, it's gone. But spare wheel and high saddle. That's its sort of default configuration. And then deserves a repair, really, doesn't it? But nope, retain it. And that, if I remember rightly, we've got the Paystar, the Azov, and the Yar all in the garage, all pretty much dry. Then all I've got on the map is the prototype trailer, which I can't take with me anyway, and the other trailers that I got on this map for free. Make sure that I've not left anything in Big Salmon Peak. Nope, that's all gone. So that is Yukon done, 100% finished. Dun dun dun. Brilliant. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to wrap this one here, and I'm going to get ready for Wisconsin, which I'm really looking forward to. It's just a change, isn't it, right? Thanks for bearing with me. It's been a long, long, grindy season, but we got there finished, and we're on to Wisconsin next. So yeah, thank you for the support. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in Wisconsin. But in the meantime, thanks and goodbye.